Hi, I'm Tina.
And I'm Roger.
And we both believe
it's never too late to RV. Today I'm going to be talking about solar cells, battery bank, charge controller, and a battery monitor. I've set up this experimental section to demonstrate how these things go together and how they work. Today I've set up an experiment with a 100 watt 12 volt solar panel. This was actually given to me. It's got a small defect in it, which you can see, but it puts out probably 98% of its capacity at this point, and it was free, so I can't bark about that too much. I've also got inside the box a charge controller, a battery bank of two 12 volt 91 amp hour batteries that are about 15 years old. They're not up to shape. They're not the best capacity in the world, but it's what I have. I also have a battery monitor that will show me what the load is taking off to the battery bank. And I also have a 3000 watt inverter that will give me 110 AC. That'll allow me to plug in things like this fan and run it as necessary. This fan draws about 30 watts. 45 watts max is what it says on the label, but in measuring I see it's taking about 30 watts to run. Now, the way it's set up right now with the 100 watt solar panel, the charge controller, the two battery bank, and the inverter, with this 30 watt load, I can tell from the battery monitor that there are times, since the batteries are full, that when the sun is shining enough, the inverter and the 30 watt fan run directly off of this solar panel. When the battery go down, or when the sun goes down and there's no more charge going to the batteries through the charge controller, then the power is taken from the batteries. So it's really interesting to watch as the clouds roll by, and today it's scattered clouds. When the solar panel is active, it's going to give me anywhere up to 10 or 11 amps of charging to the battery bank. And if the battery bank is topped off and doesn't need it, then everything that up to the amperage that's coming off the solar panel will be provided by the solar panel. If I draw more than 11 amps of load, say I turn the refrigerator on, or if I was running some lights, or maybe I'm running a drill or radio or stereo or something, when I get up to 8, 9, 10, 11 amps and go more than that on the load, then it'll take whatever's coming from the photocell and take the extra that it needs from the batteries. So it's really a cool setup. The charge controller that I'm using is MPPT 250 watt maximum. It will handle 12 volts, 24 volts, or 48 volts input. It's smart. It will analyze the voltage coming in from the solar panel and adjust the calculations according to whatever the battery conditions are. These batteries don't have any kind of smart to them, so it's all up to the charge controller to learn about the battery and charge it appropriately. It's all the way charged right now, both of them, and it's floating, and I can adjust the float level for these particular batteries if I need to. This is pretty technical. I don't know how much a lot of people will get out of this. For those of you that are curious about solar panels and how they work, hopefully this will help. I've got another solar panel that's 240 watts at 24 volts. And based on my calculations, these two 100-watt solar panels could be replaced by one 240-watt 24-volt panel, and it will operate actually better than this particular setup. The solar charge controller can take up to 250 watts of solar energy, which means that the larger panel that's 240 watts at 24 volts is just fine. I have two of those, but I couldn't hook them up together because the charge controller can't take it. I'd have to get a bigger charge controller. I have it set up so I could plug in the second 100-watt solar panel, which will give me 200 watts at 12 volts, and that's within the range of the charge controller. And it would double my ability to provide power to whatever the load is. So if this was in a trailer, then I could go up to 16 amps. I could power a 15 amp circuit with just the solar panels as long as the sun was shining full. And if the cloud goes over like it's doing right now, that would drop and the batteries would pick up the difference. So it's a great way to extend your boondocking life when you're out. I have not hooked up any solar to the trailer yet. What I'm planning on doing is taking this charge controller, installing it in the trailer along with the battery monitor and two of these batteries. Now these batteries are sealed flooded lead acid batteries. They weigh about 60 pounds apiece. And for a small trailer like that, pulling it with my F-150, I got to be very sensitive of the weight we put in there. So 120 pounds of lead acid batteries is a pretty good load. As soon as I'm able, I want to replace these with lithium ion batteries. Lithium ion weigh about 29 pounds apiece. So it's quite a difference in weight. And they're the same size, if not smaller than these. If you have any questions, make sure you post them below this video. If you're interested in more videos about RVing and solar power and things like that, post your questions. Be sure to subscribe down there. And I'll be sure to answer your questions if I can. And if there's enough interest in a particular topic, we'll make a video about it. So, thank you.